Okay, hi, I'm Savanna. The major claim of the advocate I'm refuting today stated that the teacher strikes in Washington were a necessary action needed to bring a mutual concession and the proper execution of the McCleary fix. The three reasons they stated were: one, that the first days of school were delayed due to teacher strikes. The second one was that teacher unions organized meetings with teachers and met with district administrators. And three, teacher strikes ended with demands being met. So in response to the advocate's first claim, they state that the first days of school were delayed due to teacher strikes. This caused 7 schools in Washington to miss their first day of class and prompted Seattle officials to find a resolution quickly before even more students missed school, leaving their education compromised. More than 53,000 students in the state's largest district could possibly have missed school indefinitely, leaving many communities in high stress. So school is about bettering the education of students, and the teacher strikes in Washington caused more than 80,000 students to be affected by the strikes, which left 67,000 students attending school, then finding out on the spot that no class was in session. So this affected not only the students, but the parents who have work all day and now need to find a solution last minute for their kids. The teachers are not fighting for a better education, but rather for a higher pay. Wanting to keep only the best teachers and give them praise, the solution out of several that they could have had was resulted in having strikes all over the state, causing class to be missed from the first day up until 3 weeks of school. To think about the pay rather than the education of students, especially affecting the first week of school, throws everything off. This does not seem like the quality of a good teacher. Having the first days of school canceled unknowingly does not give these schools a good reputation either. This also affected schools in West Virginia, Arizona, and Oklahoma. In response to the advocate's second claim stating that teacher unions organized meetings with district administrators, according to Washington Education Association spokesman Rich Wood, he states that the vast majority of school districts were able to negotiate competitive pay raises without teachers going on strike. So the McCleary first state, the purpose was to better public education, yet canceling school and showing actions of protest above attending school does not seem to be bettering the districts in any way. The strikes were said to have been urgent, resulting in schools being canceled, but the teacher strikes in Washington resulted in a more timely manner. Being known about since last year, 2017, when the McCleary versus state was in action, the parents could have been informed or involved in the situation in the summer before school started in order to gain parent support, if anything. As the advocate ran out of time, the final claim was not stated in much depth because of excess background information of the McCleary fix itself at the beginning of the speech. Leaving the audience in a position to make their own opinion of the controversy of the teacher strikes rather than regarding the major claim as a fact. In conclusion, the teacher strikes in Washington resulted in a delay of several schools' first day of class because it was an urgent thing that was waited upon last minute, causing a delay in children's education and affecting parents' schedules. Therefore, the strikes being urgent fell upon others to be in an urgent situation themselves. And then just a little background thing, the last note to say is that there was a Princeton senior named Wendy Kopp. She wrote her senior thesis proposing an organization to draw graduates from elite schools into teaching poor kids. So her idea was to hire them for just a couple of years and then let them move on to whatever they would like. I'm sorry, my voice is like going off everywhere. Today, Teacher America sends about 4,100 grads, many from Ivy League colleagues, into inner city schools every year. About 61% stay in teaching after their demanding 2-year tours, and 2/3, scratch that, never mind, okay. Having poor teacher experience comes from school systems themselves, resulting in the quality of the teachers we are sending off to teach at schools such as these that found the solution to strike. If there's anything to fix, then it starts with the bettering education of the teachers we say are prepared. Thank you.
Well, you laid out the advocate's claims pretty clearly. I'm not exactly sure how your arguments respond to those points. Like the first one just seems like it's making the same argument that the advocate's talking about, that a whole bunch of schools are going to be affected, that a lot of students are going to miss the first day, and that created an urgent problem. I think the inference that you're making here is that this is kind of a shifting of the problem from the schools to the students, or from the schools to the families, and that's not something that is either desirable or that produced a positive outcome. It produced a negative outcome. There also seems to be an inference here that this is less about the quality of education and it's primarily about the pay of the teachers. Separating the notion that the pay for the teachers has an impact on the quality of education, I think that's a reasonable argument to make, but you don't really have any evidence that suggests that that's not relevant. If the teachers get paid better, are they better teachers? Do they change their curriculum? Or are they more likely to stay instead of migrating to someplace where there is better pay? I don't know what the long-term issue on this is, except that teachers apparently went on strike, students suffered as a consequence, teachers got paid, and everybody is unhappy as a result. Either the teachers are unhappy with the amount of money they got paid, the students are unhappy because they, well, I don't know that the students are unhappy, but their families might be unhappy. Students are probably happy that they missed a day or two of school. But the, I mean, it's just like I'm getting information without any explanation about how I'm supposed to interpret this information. Tell me what the claim is. How does this answer the advocate's position? If the advocate's position was unclear, explain why it was unclear. At the end, I got a lot of comments about what was going on, but I don't know what it is I'm supposed to believe. Am I supposed to believe that the strike was a good thing because the teachers got paid more, or am I supposed to believe that it was a bad thing because the students were hurt? That seems to me to be the conflict that's going on here, but nobody seems to be willing to say that that is the conflict. I just get a lot of description about the McCleary fix and about the things that happened without drawing many inferences about it, and I found that a little bit frustrating. I know that you're having trouble being able to project and read because of your voice, but it's not just the voice that is problematic, it's that people aren't explaining things, they're just saying things, and it's not the same thing as to say something as it is to explain something. And I didn't we have another speech on this same issue the other day? Didn't we have 2 refutations on this?
Yes, we did.
This is the second one I've heard, and I'm still in the same situation. So we heard the first speech, I was confused, and now we've heard 2 speeches in responding to it, and I'm still confused as to what it is I'm supposed to get out of this. All right, thank you. Sorry.